Book.io is a Web3 company selling ebooks and audiobooks on the blockchain. I'm not gonna tell you why this is important, I'll show you. More details in the white paper, link in the description. Today I want to talk specifically about the read-to-earn system to try and guess how much someone could earn by reading books. Short disclaimer, I'm a very strong supporter of Book.io. My goal, however, is not to sell you the moon. I have no idea where this is going. It's just for the fun of speculating. What I think might be of value to you is the thought process. Maybe there are elements that you didn't take into account in your own predictions. This is what I'm trying to give you. Back to the topic. What we earn by reading are book tokens. These are tokens on the Cardano blockchain. This token powers up a closed-loop economy. At the beginning, we have authors and publishers. They need to spend the book tokens in order to create DAs. DAs are decentralized encrypted assets. That's how we call all ebooks and audiobooks on the platform. So they buy the book tokens on an exchange, then they spend it on the platform to create their NFTs, and then those are put on the marketplace for anyone to buy. On the other side, we have the readers. Readers, they earn the book tokens just by reading with the app, and they can also use those tokens for a variety of things. For instance, they can buy some books or get discounts on some books, but they can also gift them to authors, give them a little tip to support them. It can also be used to access exclusive book clubs and get a closer relationship with their favorite authors. And all these book tokens that are spent, then they flow back into the hands of authors and publishers, and they can go at it again, create more books, or they can also use them for two other things, which are getting access to reading analytics or access to the advertising platform, so they can advertise their work on the marketplace and increase their sales. As you can see, the token is loaded with utility. I can totally see a world where readers don't ever sell their tokens, but instead use them within the ecosystem. The read-to-earn system is inspired by Bitcoin. Every 4 hours, a block is produced, and it contains a specific amount of book tokens. Your share of those rewards is equal to how many words you read in that 4-hour window compared to the words read by all other users during the same time period. Similarly to Bitcoin, the block size will be divided by 2 every 2 years until year 50. For this video, I will focus on year 1, where each block will yield 143,640 book tokens. The price of any item is influenced by supply and demand. For supply, I will take what is written in the white paper for year 0, around 2.1 billion tokens. However, if we look at tap tools, we can see that the current circulating supply is around 900 million tokens. Here, I'm gonna make a big assumption for the sake of simplification. The difference between the two is 1.2 billion tokens. Until the read-to-earn system starts, we can expect a listing on a centralized exchange, as well as the release of the self-publishing portal for authors. We know that there are 12,000 authors who reached out to Book to mint with them. So, for the sake of simplification, we will say that this 1.2 billion token difference is absorbed by those 12,000 authors. At the moment, we have around 5,000 holders for a price of around 0.03 USD per token. So if we add 12,000 holders and the supply increases by 1.2 billions, we will end up with 17,000 holders and the price per token of 0.043 USD. This will be our starting point. The second assumption I'm gonna make is that once the masses come in, they're not gonna go through the trouble of selling their tokens on a decentralized exchange or going there even to buy tokens. They will just earn through reading and then use their tokens within the ecosystem. I think it's much easier to use those points they got for free and use them to buy new books and keep on reading for free. This means that the price action of the token will only be influenced by crypto natives and authors. Finally, we will assume that our readers read 30 minutes per day and that the cheapest book on the platform is available for $2. If you think about it, you can only earn the book token rewards the first time you read a book. If you read 30 minutes per day, you will finish this book and then you'll have nothing else to read. This means that you need to keep on buying books to keep on reading and keep on earning those tokens. On average, an adult reads 238 words per minute, and a book is on average 60,000 words long. If you put things together, that means that by reading 30 minutes a day, in a month you will have read 4 books. Now is when the fun starts. We will go through the different phases of this first year of Read to Earn and try to guess how much one can hope to gain. An important note though, this first year of Read to Earn will actually double the supply of book tokens, and this will impact the price. That's why for each scenario, I will give you a range of earnings, depending if you're at the beginning or at the end of this first year. Read to Earn just started, and this is the launch of the program. As I mentioned earlier, we will have around 17,000 holders, broken down as shown on the screen. So we have the ADA holders, around 5,000, and 12,000 authors. What I'm adding is how many people I think will be reading. I don't give much credit to the degens. I think only 10% will read at first. Authors, on the other hand, I give them much credit. I think they read all the time, maybe just an assumption. And I'm putting 50% of readers in there. So altogether, at launch, we will have 6,500 readers. Let's see how that impacts the price. So here I'm gonna go through all rows of this table, but then it will be much faster. So we are looking at the book price, the book token price, and this is what I explained earlier, that with 17,000 holders, we should be at 0.043 USD per token at the beginning. Then by end of year 1, supply will double, so it will be worth half of that. Then we know that the first year we have 143,000 tokens in a block, and a block is 4 hours, so there will be 6 blocks per day, and the reward per day, then you can calculate it like that. So if we take this reward per day with the number of readers, we get how many tokens a reader gets, and this is around 132. So if we take 132 and we multiply by the price, we get the earnings per day, so $5.7 at the beginning, $2.85 at the end. And then we go on to multiply this for earnings per month, so that's 171. And well, if you read 30 minutes per day in a month, it's 15 hours. As I explained before, that means you need 4 books, $2 per book. That's $8 of expenses that you need to take out of your earnings. So at this first phase, the launch, it's super lucrative to read. There aren't many readers, but there are really a lot of tokens. So we can expect to earn up to $163 per month for reading 30 minutes per day. It sounds super interesting, and I think it makes sense just because of the ratio between the rewards and the number of readers. But we will see that this is gonna change. So if I go to the next scenario, this one I called crypto growth. So here the idea is that, well, book.io starts being known amongst crypto natives and in particular on other blockchains. So here what I'm taking in account is Ethereum and Solana. It's completely arbitrary. So Ethereum, well, we already published books there, so it makes sense. Solana is just another big popular blockchain, so those people may get interested to make the jump onto Cardano and invest in the book token. Now, to know how many people to add, well, I looked at the top DeFi app on Ethereum and Solana, so namely Uniswap and Orca, and I took just 0.5% of those users. So it's very marginal. Only a few people from those other ecosystems would get on it. On ADA though, I added a 20% increase just as the app gets more popular. And that's also why I increased the share of readers within this trader group. Well, there is money to be made, so more people are reading. Offers, they stay stable. So now if we put all things together, we have around 20,000 holders, out of which 7,600 are reading. So now let's run the numbers again. So we see the price increases because we have more holders. We went from 17,000 to 20. The price is now 0.052. And then when we break it down into earnings per month, that's 175 minus the 8 to buy new books, that's 167. At least at the beginning of year one, as the supply increases, we may get less money or less tokens, and that would end up around $80 per month. Still super interesting. I mean, you read, you learn things, you get smarter, you open your mind, and at the same time you get paid for it. All those tokens you can reinvest, you can hold. Super interesting. Okay, now we move one step further. So this is really a tipping point. It's when the readers come. So again, we take the same groups and you will see another increase. So again, the same idea that we gain more and more traction. There are more and more people on the platform reading and speculating on the token. So for ADA, I keep on increasing by around 30%. And for ETH and Sol, I'm now taking 1% of their top DeFi app users. I doubled the offers. This is also completely arbitrary. And now you can see I'm making a difference. All those people, traders and authors, I put them together in what I call the price movers. As I explained earlier, these are the people who buy and spend the tokens, so they are the ones influencing the price. Then we have the people I call pure consumers. I mean the masses, people who just read. And I chose the figure of 60,000 because, well, Josh and Ben, so the co-founders of Book.io, they actually had their own ebook company before. It was called Bookshout, and it had 6 million users. So I'm taking just 1% of those 6 million. 1% of what they did before seems reasonable to me. So where do we get? Well, we get to 36,000 price movers, but 75,000 readers. So now the ratio is very different. You will notice as well that I increased again the share of readers within the trader groups. Again, there's money to be made, so people just make money. We run the numbers through the machine and we get those numbers. And here I want to point out two things. First of all, the book price keeps on increasing. We are close to 9 cents, so that's great for people who already own the book tokens. But since there are so many more readers, then the earnings per day are not that interesting. Like on the previous scenario, we're making around $160 per month reading, and now we make only 23. So we divided by 8. It's huge. So this, for me, is really the tipping point. Once the masses come in, then there's not much to earn anymore. But because there are more holders, the price still appreciates. So I think that the best time to read and maybe to accumulate or DCA into the token is until that time. The next phase is again a further growth, because there's no reason to stop. People learned about Book.io, they can earn those tokens, they can buy books, they can interact with authors, so it just keeps on growing. Here, in terms of parameters, we keep on increasing everything. So for the traders on ADA side, we take the same number of holders as MinSwap, which I think if MinSwap can do it, an app trying to reach mass adoption should be able to. When it comes to ETH and Sol, we are now taking 5% of the Uniswap and Orca holders. When it comes to offers, we also take 5%, but 5% of Kindle offers. I couldn't find accurate figures because Amazon is not very transparent, but I read that there were around 1 million offers, independent offers on Kindle. So if we take 5% of that, considering all the advantages that Book.io offers, I think it's also totally in the realm of possibilities. So that brings us to a quantity of 97 holders, traders, people who move the price, and I'm adding 600,000 readers. It looks huge, and it is. Again, I just compare to the prior company by the founders of Book.io. So they had 6 million readers, and here I'm taking 10% of that. So now let's see what kind of numbers we get. And here we see the book price really goes up sharply. We were at 9 cents earlier, now we're at 25. It's super interesting. We are basically at 8x or between 8 and 10x of the current price. So it needs a lot of growth, like really a lot. Book.io needs to become a household name basically. And when we get to that point, we see something very interesting, is that, well, the more readers there are, the least rewards each reader can get. And here we see that if we were at the end of this year one, we would actually lose money by reading, because we would need to buy new books. So here I think we're trying to find the balance, the equilibrium between the rewards and keep on reading for free. Nonetheless, still a good deal. If you can read 4 books per month for just $2, sounds reasonable to me. And then, for the fun, I did a last scenario where I really boost up all parameters to have an idea of how it would look like if we really made it. So here in this last phase, we have much more people. So for ADA, 34,000 is the same as cornucopias, so actually it's not that crazy. But for ETH and Sol, I take 10% of the DeFi users, Uniswap, Orca users. For offers, I take 20% of the Kindle offers, so that's 200,000, that's huge. I feel like we don't realize how many writers will benefit from it and how much they will lead the demand for the token. Like 200,000, totally doable. I mean, why would you publish on Kindle when they may have questionable practices, like people getting banned? You don't know how many books you sold. I mean, you need to trust them. It's kind of opaque. So I can totally see a lot of independent writers being interested in Book.io, especially when we see how fast they are selling out and all the advantages they are giving, such as direct access to the readers. So here in this kind of crazy scenario where it all worked out and Book.io is big, we get to 277 price movers and 1 million readers. It's around 15% of what they had in their prior app. And now, what do we get? We get a book price of 71 cents, or 35 if we are rather at the end of year one, which is more likely. And the earnings are really interesting as well, because while we go up compared to the prior scenario. So the balance was found, and now we can actually earn a bit or be let's say at 0 expense, and that I think is how it's gonna look like at the end, that people are gonna read and it's just gonna pay for the books they are reading, so they can keep on reading for free. They don't need to buy a subscription, and I think this is what it will tend towards because every market is just trying to find its balance. As you can see with my different scenarios, read to earn is the most lucrative before the masses come in. After that, it will just pay for itself. If you are thinking of gaming the system, give up. It's not the first app they are building. Remember, on the white paper we could see reading analytics. This means that everything you do as a reader on the app is tracked. It is anonymized, so no worries from the privacy side. However, it means that there will be some kind of average reader profile being built, and if you do anything that is too different from that profile, you will stand out immediately. If you want to earn more, there is actually a way. Something that I realized when I was doing those scenarios is that, well, we need to keep on buying books, but we don't need to buy, we can also rent. And I assume that renting books will be cheaper than buying them, because, well, you don't have ownership of it, so there's no reason you would pay more. And also, it means that if people rent books, well, you can lend them and receive books as well. The question is, how do you get those book tokens? We don't know if you will get a portion of the tokens earned by the reader, so the person renting your book, or if they will pay you directly in book tokens, and then it's some kind of upfront payment and you do whatever you want with that. So in my scenarios, I calculated that the cheapest book would be $2, so I would assume that if we rent them, we will rent them for $1. Remember that on average one person will read 4 books per month. So the same book you have, you will rent it 4 times, so you will make $4 per book that you lend. So now when you look at all those potatoes, all those cheap books on secondary markets, then you start thinking that, well, maybe you should, not financial advice, have a nice inventory, especially the popular titles, so you can lend them and also earn that way. I think this is one of the points that I kind of didn't think about until I made this video, that lending can also play a big part in the income we can generate with book. And in that sense, I think that crypto natives are super well positioned to benefit from the project as a whole. Of course, there is trading NFTs, but once everything is rolling, you can lend your books, you can read, you can trade the token, you can farm the token on MinSwap. You also get these airdrops if you hold a Gutenberg Bible. So actually there will be many different income streams, and I think it will be super beneficial for the current and future holders. These were my predictions and are loaded with assumptions. I'm curious to hear from you. What are your predictions? I think the one thing we can all agree on is that if one blockchain app has a shot at mass adoption, it is book.io. Like, no doubt about that. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you next time.